From the 17th of May, midnight UK time, Atrium Fragrance's second release, Mr. Romantic, will be available to pre-order. Mr. Fragrant was our versatile release. Mr. Romantic is our date/evening fragrance for men to wear all year round. You can see the note breakdown of the fragrance on the screen here. If I had to describe Mr. Romantic, I'd say it's a classic cardamom and amber fragrance in romantic DNAs, mixed with a really unique white floral, chamomile, and neroli combination, as well as a really transparent, fresh vanilla that never gets too annoying. I think this is even better than Mr. Fragrant. Actually, I think they're very different styles. I don't want to give you guys 5 fragrances that are all similar in style. They all have very different functions, different styles to give you a nice variety in your collection. The pre-order offer will be an early bird price of £72 or $90 US. That will last for 72 hours to pre-order and only for 300 bottles. Anyone who has purchased or been a Kickstarter backer of a full bottle of Mr. Fragrance will receive a free automatic sample of Mr. Romantic to the same address they provided. That will be sent to them on the official release in mid-June. The safest and best fragrances to blind buy. I'm making this video because for one of 2 reasons. First of all, you are somebody who's looking to blind buy fragrances. I know some of you in the comments in my videos, you say that you struggle to go to shops and try things online. Maybe your country or where you're located in your country is just a bit of a ball ache to find somewhere to trial fragrances in store. So sometimes, you like to blind buy, or you also just enjoy blind buying in general because it's quite risky. It's quite a thrilling experience. It is something you do at your own risk. I cannot take responsibility for it, but if you're somebody who wants safe fragrances to blind buy, this is the video for you, because today we are going to be looking at fragrances that are very popular, and these are the very obvious choices for blind buy, and they're very safe. It's very unlikely you're going to dislike them, and they're very useful to have in your collection. But they're very popular fragrances, so I'm actually going to give alternatives to them in order for us in the fragrance community to deviate from these overly done, kind of boring names now that everyone and their dog has. So I want you to smell a bit more unique, but still have very safe fragrances to try. So we're going to discuss the popular fragrance that is still relatively safe to blind buy. It's very likely you're going to enjoy it. And then I'm going to give you what I think is the more unique and better alternative that I still think you can blind buy safely. Let's get started. Dior Sauvage. Okay, let's discuss this. Extremely popular from 2015. It's a shower gel fragrance that is very versatile, loud, peppery, and Broxen based, meaning it's quite synthetic, but at the same time, it is very pleasant, very easy to love. I do think there are a cohort of people who might say this is a bit screechy, but in general, actually, if it's too much for you, just under apply a bit, but you're generally going to love Sauvage. It's one of the most popular fragrances for a reason. It's going to be a safer option to blind buy a fragrance. I still think it's phenomenal. The perfumery is fantastic, but it's definitely overdone and a bit on the synthetic side. I've said this before, but I think Mancera's Cedrat Boise Intense is the new Sauvage for us frag heads. Us in the fragrance community will appreciate this, and it's going to be a hidden gem, relatively speaking, compared to Sauvage. It's going to be a hidden gem. Cedrat Boise Intense is one of the best versatile fragrances out there. If you're looking for a citrus woody cologne, which is a similar category to Sauvage, then this is phenomenal. A huge improvement over the original Cedrat Boise. Cedrat Boisi was already one of my most complimented fragrances of all time, the original, and I think this is a big improvement. It is smooth, smoky, citrus woodiness with a blackcurrant effect in there as well. It is clean, masculine, extremely sexy, and extremely long lasting. It's a fresh heat that lasts over 12 hours and can be used all year round. For me, this is a phenomenal blind buy because you're going to get great value for money from this. You're going to get compliments, longevity, and versatility. Bleu de Chanel is another blue fragrance that smells like you're fresh out the shower. Great scent profile. I think it's a classic. I actually prefer Bleu de Chanel over Sauvage personally. It's got this elegant luxuriousness. It's grapefruit, amber, and incense, having a lot of different combinations in here. This is balanced perfumery here, basically. It's got the warm and fresh aspects to balance each other out, meaning Bleu de Chanel is a sexy, versatile fragrance you can wear both in the daytime and in the evening. It's very elegant, high quality, but it's a bit boring. Again, it's a very safe, nice guy fragrance to go for. Still worth having in your collection. A very good blind buy. The Eau de Parfum is what I recommend, but you can get this to be a bit more sexy and different. La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. Now, yes, I know this is difficult to find these days, but I checked yesterday I saw this available on a few websites for the UK at the very least, and the EU. So you can get this for a decent price nowadays. I don't know if this is discontinued officially, but I keep seeing it pop up every once in a while. So it's like a little rare unicorn that you can still get for a reasonable price. La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique is the original romantic cardamom-based La Nuit de l'Homme DNA, which was very romantic, as I said, very warm, inviting, and extremely sexy. One of the sexiest fragrances of all time that lasted about 2 minutes. The longevity was pretty horrendous. It didn't last 2 minutes, it lasted about 4 hours. But this is the modern flanker, which, like the name suggests, it makes it a bit more blue, a little bit more fresh, sparkly in the opening, a bit more versatile, so and it lasts longer as well, hence why this fragrance gets so much hype. It took the masterpiece that everyone wanted updated, and it updated it like we wanted it to be. This is the perfect modern reiteration of La Nuit de l'Homme. So if you want a fresh out of the shower scent like Bleu de Chanel, but it's a bit more unique and it's more sexy, the sexiness is amped up here, yeah, you can just wear this in the day, night, daytime, clubbing, wherever you want to wear this. This is definitely worth looking out for. Find this unicorn if you still can, it's worth getting. Club de Nuit Intense Man by Armaf. Now we know the appeal of this fragrance. This is a clone of Creed Aventus. This is legendary because it's Creed Aventus at 1/10 of the price. This made an expensive niche fragrance that was very popular, become really accessible to us frag heads, to people who knew this existed. So it's a great fragrance to blind buy because it's not that expensive. It's, again, smoky pineapple with a woody undertone, musky. Again, very versatile and easy, cheapy to wear that lasts a good amount of time. The Eau de Parfum is my recommended concentration, but actually I do think the Aventus DNA in general is a bit overdone, and I think it's time to move on from that line of fragrances from Creed Aventus and all its clones, in my opinion. That's why I recommend Alexandria fragrances, Black Panther. This is also a clone, but now this is a clone of Bulgari's Tigar. This is simply grapefruit, ambroxan, and sandalwood. It is a simple but high quality blend. It smells more simple than Club de Nuit, but it smells much more luxurious in my opinion. They really get the niche copycat clone effect here even better in my opinion. It's very long lasting, 8 to 10 hours. It's something you have to experience. I think this is a very safe blind buy. Yes, it's a bit more expensive than Club de Nuit, but I think if you're going for a versatile signature, that's just a fresh citrus woody cologne, this is easily worth its money. It's about £35 for 30 ml, so it's still, you know, I think it's going to be at least double the price of Club de Nuit, but I think it's easily worth it, and I think it'll make you smell better, more luxurious, and you'll be shocked at how good quality this is. It's still a steal for the price, in my opinion. Versace Eros. Yes, everyone and their nan is wearing this to the clubs, and their dogs as well are wearing it to the nightclubs. Versace Eros, I think, is a fantastic beginner fragrance. If you're a beginner, this is still a good fragrance to blind buy. It has the simple notes of apple, mint, and vanilla. It starts more fresh and easy to love up top, and becomes a little bit more simplistic and purely focusing on the vanilla dry down later on. I don't like this because I do think it does get boring quickly. It's sort of, yeah, the plain Jane of the perfumery game. Very easy to love as a beginner, but you'll quickly grow out of it, in my opinion. So I think beginners should get like a 50 ml, a small bottle as a blind buy. You don't need a big bottle like this, in my opinion. Then after you finish that, see if you still want to buy another bottle of Eros. I think it's a good fragrance for what it is. And I think it still is relevant, actually, but only for the most beginner individuals. Teenagers especially, it's a really good choice. You can blind buy this instead, Azzaro The Most Wanted. I think it achieves everything that Eros does, but it's better. It's loud, it's sexy, good for clubbing, very easy to love. It's a toffee-based clubbing fragrance that is woody, ambery, grabs people's attention. It's a very sexy fragrance, but done in a more modern way to Eros. It's less boring than Eros. It doesn't feel as simplistic. As the blend here is better, in my opinion. The longevity is fantastic. 10 hours with loud projection as well. So I think this is currently the superior alternative to Eros for a fragrance blind buy for clubbing or partying. If you're gonna go to the summertime, you can blind buy this, Versace Homme. A really classic fragrance from Versace. This is probably their safest summer fragrance. Musky, white floral, neroli, soapy, clean, aquatic. This smells like a masculine, handsome man in the summertime. I do think it started to show its age a tiny bit, if I'm honest with you. This came out, what, 2004? So it's a testament to how great this is, that I think it's still a very popular fragrance. And you know, it's just a very safe, daily fresh fragrance for men in the summertime. Clean, handsome, also like another fresh out the shower effect from this fragrance. I think if you want compliments in a really safe way, in a really classical way, you want to smell like the perfumery from the 2000s, I still think this is a good choice. Longevity could be a little bit better. Go heavy on the trigger. You get about 6 hours of this fragrance, I do at the very least. This fragrance here is a bit more modern and lasts longer. It's also a good blind buy. Dior Homme Sport 2021. I always mention this fragrance on this channel. I've given it a 10 out of 10 before, and I still stand by that. Similar effect to Versace Pour Homme, or similar function at the very least. Safe, handsome, easy to love, longer lasting now, and it's more elegant and luxurious in my opinion. It smells like a rich man's orange and amber woody fragrance for men in the summertime that you can also wear in the spring and the autumn. The reason I love this is because for a summertime fragrance, it's very long lasting, over 8 hours, and you get that wearability in the other seasons like I just mentioned, which makes it fantastic value for money, easy to love, easy to blind buy. And last but not least, of course, Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Parfum. Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Toilette was one of my first fragrances that I collected as a serious collector, and I still love it to this day. I love the DNA, very balanced, handsome, amber, tobacco, and ginger fragrance. This is the safest, sexiest, romantic date night fragrance a man can get. This is great for beginners if you want just like a very safe, easy to love, inoffensive date night fragrance. The balance, the handsomeness, the warmth here, it's never too sweet, it's never too boring, it is sexy, but at the same time, really beautifully done perfumery, clever perfumery here. A lot of people complain about the longevity of the one Dolce & Gabbana, that's the main gripe with it. I think there is another fragrance which I think is more creative. It really seems like it should be less safe, but it's creative, but it's in a safe way in my opinion. You can still easily love it, and it's longer lasting. That is Thomas Fordigan's Noir Extreme. So this is still an amber and cardamom fragrance like the one Eau de Parfum. It'll give you a very romantic, intense, powdery, seductive effect here with a soft projection, so they have to come in close to experience this fragrance. But this is really creative with more florals in here and a really creative and unique accord that I still haven't seen in any other perfume that's ever existed. That's only in the Noir Extreme line, and that is a kulfi note. Kulfi is an Indian dairy ice cream sort of dessert which often uses pistachios and condensed milk, I think. This is basically a very specific Indian dessert. And this fragrance uses it beautifully. It creates a really distinct character, this fragrance. If you want to be unforgettable on a date or any special event with a special someone, this is the fragrance for you. This is beautiful perfumery that I think if someone just wants to kind of skip the basics but wants something safe at the same time, you can blind buy this fairly safely in my opinion. This is dark, intense, creative perfumery that still smells really easy to love. I get 8 hours longevity with a soft projection. And that concludes this video, guys. Are you for or against fragrance blind buying? And are you going to blind buy any of the fragrances I've suggested here? Again, please blind buy responsibly. I cannot take full guarantees for these suggestions. I really strongly think they will be easy to love as blind buys, but do your own due diligence. Thank you guys for watching. Watch our other videos on fragrance blind buying. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye now.